Well, a lot of us are feeling it. Maybe you can't put your finger on the exact reasons. You're tired. I'm tired. Let's talk about why. Dad, are you tired?
What?
Don't yawn, because then everyone watching this YouTube episode will start yawning. It's contagious. Yawning is contagious. And maybe I feel like this epidemic of tired pastors is a bit contagious. But there are some reasons for it. So if you're going, yeah, I'm not just tired, I'm exhausted. Yeah, there's some stuff going on. There's a phenomenon that is occurring that I think is making people slightly more sleepy. Uh,
Well, mine is not related to any of these reasons. Mine's writing 7 books in 14 months, 15 months. I
Yeah,
don't
you are
remember
under
what.
with a great publisher, by the way, who pushed you in ways that I think was beneficial for you.
In a good way. Yes, in a good way. But these 5 ways relate to pastors and other church leaders. They are
Yeah.
legit.
No, these are
I
real
mean, they
things.
are
So
really.
if you're watching this episode going, "Yeah, I saw the title, I'm tired," well, what I'd love to talk about this. By the way, feel free to comment if you like. We encourage that. So if you want to kind of join the discussion, you know, do so in the comments here on YouTube. So there's this thing called the Great Resignation, and I haven't looked in the numbers recently, but 4 million plus people quitting their jobs every month in the United States, and that's causing people to shuffle around. And I've said this before, but I don't like the term resignation when we're talking about ministry. I don't want to talk about the great resignation of pastors, but there is a great reshuffling that is occurring. Some pastors are moving to other ministry positions. Some of them are no longer pastors, even though they're still in ministry. And your people are moving around a lot as well. At least a lot of them are. If they're not moving, they're quitting their jobs. They're part of this great resignation, and there is, as a result, a great reshuffling in the church. And guess what? All that movement, it's exhausting.
Hey, let me add some little bit to this. I was doing some research for an article that I was doing on the resignation. Came across a Wall Street Journal article. You've probably seen it as well. It's recent at the point that we're recording this, so it's an April article in the Wall Street Journal, and it is about the Great Resignation. I know you're talking about the Great Reshuffling, but here's what they found. They found out that almost 3/4 of all those who went from one job to another have regrets, have buyer's remorse. So
I'm not
that's even
surprised. I mean,
more.
when that many people, it's a phenomenon in a qualitative sense, statistically. Well, qualitative research. It's not really statistics, but in a qualitative sense, it's a phenomenon that's occurring. So it's a lot that it's something that is all over the place that everyone is feeling. I guess that's what I'm saying. I'm not shocked at all that people have a little bit of remorse or regrets about moving around.
And in my article, I talk about why pastors feel that way. So it's related to pastors. Anyway, I'm getting off subject. Let's get back to being tired.
Yeah. Okay. So everyone's moving around, and that's exhausting because you're considering it. Maybe you've made a move, or you're talking to your people about it, and who's leaving next, and then a bunch of new people as well. Maybe you're in a church where you've lost some, you've gained some. All that movement is tiring because people are leaving. Well, you've got to talk about that. And then people are coming in. Well, you've got to get them assimilated. You got to get them into the new member class. And so there's a level of excitement with it too, but it is tiring. The second thing that I will say is attendance frequency is down. So people are not coming to church as much. So
But your church is still the same
yes, your
size.
attendance number is less, but your church is the same size, if not even larger, because people used to come every week, sometimes 3 times a week, and now they're coming once a month. So you're not
You used to go 3 times a week as a kid, sometimes
I
four
don't
times a
yeah,
week.
I enjoyed church. I had a great childhood with church, so I've got no problems with that. I know that's not everybody's story, but the whole 3 to Thrive model worked for me. So there you go. But people aren't doing it
Good.
anymore. People aren't coming to Sunday morning, Sunday
Nope.
night, Wednesday night. And what that means, here's what that means. If you're a pastor or a church leader, well, you're still their pastor. They're still going to call you. They're going to still want counseling. They're still going to want you at the funeral. They're still going to want you at the hospital. They're still going to want you at the wedding. So even
It's still going to show up on social
yeah,
media.
yeah. So even though the numbers are off at most churches, you're the people still demand, and I use that in a kind way, like they still demand things of the pastor, which means you're in a the church looks smaller, even though it is larger, and that can create a weight, which can make you tired. I mean, there's
Right.
energy when the room is full, but it's not. That's something that brings energy. It's draining when the room is empty. So not only do you have the empty room drain, you have the fact that the people are still around and still need your attention. So attendance frequency being on the declines is another reason why pastors are so tired. But
This third reason is the thing that I heard from your younger brother, Pastor, more than anything else he mentioned. And Jess Rayner said, I am tired with the pandemic because I'm making decisions that I never had to make before. And I'm making so many of them. And it's particularly talking about during the pandemic. Do we open? Do we close? Do we have masks required? Do we not? Do we social distance? Do we not? And who are we going to make mad and who are we not? So he, he began to feel decision fatigue, number three, in the midst of the
yeah,
pandemic.
it was difficult to get clear information from people in high levels of government that were communicating and what was
Still
I
is.
know, and
It's
I
conflict.
I certainly don't want to venture into the political world with this, but uh, let's just say the minds changed a lot throughout this whole process.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
however you feel about that, it was hard because you're making one decision. Okay, so you're listening to what you think is, people who are having some level of authority and telling you what is true, and then you realize, well, okay, that changed, and you had to make another decision, and then another decision, and then it got to the point to where it was almost a running joke. Like, okay, what are we doing this week? So, but here's the thing: decision fatigue is real. And it is something that has been studied at length in leaders, not just in pastors. And when you have to make a wide variety of decisions over and over and over again, and sometimes it's the same decision over and over again, it's just the message changed. So, okay, now what do we do? It's
Hey, a
tiring.
little point of little point of humor in all this. We were talking about the decisions that needed to be made when I was in my community group last week, and one of the members of the community group said, "Yeah, I used to listen to fill in the blank as my primary source of what to do during the pandemic, how to respond, and I'm just stopping listening to them." I said, "Why?" He said, "Because they're not saying what I need to hear, and they're not saying what I want to hear."
Yeah.
So he changed sources so that he could get there's confirmation bias. I'm going to go find a source that's going to tell me what
Yeah.
I want to hear.
Yeah. Well, we've made a lot of decisions. Pastors have made a lot of decisions over the last several months, last couple of years, and it's just exhausting. This fourth point, though, I think is also something that is not talked about enough. Respect for leaders is just low. Leaders in general. I'm talking school leaders, educational leaders. I'm talking business leaders, political leaders, religious leaders, including pastors. We're just at a very low point when it comes to respect level for those in positions of
As
authority.
as as a general statement, Sam, if you're in a position of leadership, some people automatically view you with
Yeah,
suspicion.
it's immediate skepticism if you have
Yep.
some sort of position of authority. And there's been a lot of abuses out there of authority. So I can understand the skepticism. It's reality, and some people have legitimate concerns of leaders. That doesn't negate the fact that respect is just generally low, which makes it hard to lead, which is exhausting. So you've got the great reshuffling, you've got attendance frequency down, but even though people aren't showing up as much, they still want you as part of their life. You've got decision fatigue, you've got low respect levels for leaders. This last one, though, I think is perhaps the biggest one of all, at least in terms of.
I want to hear what you're saying about leadership compression.
I,
What are you saying?
I think I came up with this term. Please correct me in the comments if I accidentally stole it from somebody. But I'm gonna call it leadership compression. For all I know, I read it in the Harvard Business Review, years ago, and I've just kind of stuck with me. But I think it's mine. So here's the great thing about citing a source stat is if you can't remember where you got it, you can claim it as your own. That's the rule.
By the way, leadership compression is trademarked Church Answers. So just let y'all know if y'all try to use it.
Is it?
We will put the TM
All
right
right,
there, right
leadership
now.
compression. Here we go. This is the idea that we need results now. And it is an unreasonable expectation of followers that we will hire this ball coach, this football coach, and within one season the entire program will be turned around. And if not, we're going to fire you. That's the kind of the
Mhm.
general concept of leadership compression. It's you're in a leadership position and you have a very limited amount of time to actually do what your followers are expecting you to do. So we just hired this new pastor, and hey, within 6 months, we're going to double our attendance. Well, your church has been in decline for 30 years. So good luck doubling your attendance with just 6 months. But there's that idea that we're going to let this person lead, but we're only going to give them a very small amount of time to get something done.
Let me tell you where it's showing up within the church, in addition to pastors, is showing up in silver bullet positions: youth, children, worship. Those are three of them. I think right away. If we get this student pastor, we're going to see the number of students come in our church that are going to be 10 times greater than it ever has. Our children, or our worship is going to automatically be the best that it ever has been. I've seen that silver bullet not only take place for pastors, but for those specific staff positions
Yep.
as well.
And the greater the compression, the more the pressure, and the more the pressure you have, obviously, the more exhausting the the leadership position can be. So, um,
Exactly.
it's just leadership compression, very simple sort of principle. People have high expectations and a very limited amount of time that they want them done. Um,
And you've heard about leadership compression, trademark Church Answers 2022 from
Please let me
Sam
know if I
Leonard.
stole it.
Just
Yeah,
want to get
please say no, no. That's this theory from this particular leadership writer or something like that. Uh,
it's
But
ours on.
we have something important to announce. Something exciting, something amazing, something everybody should know about, Dad. Tell them about Church Answers University.
Church Answers University is the cutting edge of ministry training and education. It is a really a new form of ministry training and education where you can get a certificate in Christian ministry and a certificate in women's discipleship. We'll be expanding to more 10 courses, some of the best teachers in the world. Plus, you get all of the textbooks published by Tyndale as a part of the package. You can go get your complete certification. It's like this mini degree, if you will, and get it all for $1,900, and that includes the 10 textbooks, a Bible, and all the course material and all of the downloads. It's an unbelievable thing. It's the future of ministry training and
Click on
education,
the
Sam.
future. That's what you can do. Click on the future.
Click on the
Link in the show
future.
notes. Hey,
Right
while
there.
you're doing that, like the video, please. Hit subscribe, helps the algorithm. We're all about the algorithms here on YouTube. And you can also visit us at churchanswers.com, where we are growing healthy churches together.